Sam, welcome.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me on. Let's take a look at what's going on. You touched on this a little bit earlier. It was that Vice President Kamala Harris said she had a robust talk with the Guatemalan president yesterday on fighting corruption to deter immigration from Central America, with her blunt warning that migrants should not come to the United States, which I couldn't help but think that sounds a little bit like a certain 45th president of the United States. So I wonder what he thinks about that. Of course, they're not too big into the border security, but at least she is saying, do not come, you will be turned back. But the question is, how much will they be turned back? Because since President Joe Biden took office in January, the number of migrants taken into custody per month at the U.S.-Mexico border has risen to the highest levels in 20 years. And this is just for example, over 10,000 Venezuelans have been apprehended by Border Patrol, according to Customs and Border Patrol Protection. By comparison, that was for the whole fiscal year of 2020. And by comparison, last year, 135 Venezuelans were apprehended. So that's just to give you a comparison. We're going from 135 all the way up to 10,000 migrants in the matter of a year, just to give you an idea of what the change in an administration can do. Epoch Times reported that a large portions intend to live in Florida, particularly in Orlando, Tampa, and Miami, where they already have family members under the temporary protected status, which the Supreme Court just ruled that if you just entered the country illegally under the temporary protected status, you are not eligible for a green card. So we'll have to see if that changes anything at all, if that changes the math for people coming into the country. Interestingly enough, that was a unanimous decision. So even
that is interesting.
Even the liberals on the court are saying the law is the way the law is.
Right.
Congress has to change it if we do want to see a change with that, but that is not the court's job.
You know, and I can't help but think that I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but the Venezuelans, I mean, they've got good reason to come here. I mean, I'm not saying that others don't. But, I mean, they're under, a very, a political nightmare going on in their country. So I know that some years ago, many of them came here to escape that, but it's not a whole lot better right now, and it's getting worse. So I don't understand why they come here illegally, because I think that, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they could get here temporarily or legally under some sort of political asylum, but I might be off on that.
That's right. You might have a situation like we have with Cuba, where if you can get here from Cuba, because it's basically the same exact situation. So the same type of government and everything. So if you get here, maybe we could let you in with that same type of program, but we'll just have to see. They would probably vote Republican, though, so that might be a consideration that
might be.
Biden has to take in.
That may be. I'm sure they don't care about the Cubans or Venezuelans for that reason.
Look at that. You have that Miami mayor now as a Republican. So if you just consider that.
Yep.
Here's an interesting court ruling. U.S. federal judge for California last week overruled their long-standing 32-year-old rule for an assault weapons ban. This is this vaguely defined term, and an assault weapon cannot be bought and sold in California. Well, that's been overturned now. It's been in place since 1989. This was challenged back in 2019. In the ruling, the judge said this case is about what should be a muscular constitutional right and whether a state can force a gun policy choice that impinges on that right with a 30-year-old failed experiment, adding government is not free to impose its own new policy choices on American citizens where constitutional rights are concerned. So that's very good news. You can learn more about that on FISM.tv/news. And one quick more piece of news that is very interesting and some potentially game-changing news in the world of medicine. A new drug for Alzheimer's disease was approved by the FDA, and this drug could possibly directly address the underlying issues of Alzheimer's as opposed to the other drugs which just treat the symptoms. It was approved through the FDA's accelerated approval program, so it's unknown how effective it is at this time, but it's something that we're going to look at. We're very excited about it, and we'll see if it changes the game with treating Alzheimer's in the future. So that's very exciting news.
Visit FISM.tv/news for more content.